Hi, I'm Hank Sennett, professor in the Communications Studies Department here at Bridgewater State University, and I'm happy to be your instructor for this online version of Intro to Public Relations. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope to be able to introduce each week with a short video, hopefully a video that will be shorter than this one, but since this is the first one and is serving as a bit of a class introduction, I hope that you'll be patient for about 6 or 7 minutes, I think, as I take you through what the expectations are for this class. Public relations is a very exciting field. The communications business itself is a very exciting field with all the changes coming so quickly in technology. Certainly the business is a lot different than when I first started out in it as a young public relations assistant. One, I think my title was probably 35 years ago. A lot has happened, and that makes it very exciting, and hopefully it will make for a very exciting class for you. Now, the first thing about this class is this is Intro to Public Relations. This is Intro to the Business of Public Relations. This is not a public relations writing class. That's another class that I happen to be teaching this semester as well, and would be happy to see you in one of my classes, actually in one of my classes, in some of the semesters going forward. But we're talking about the business here and the ins and outs and some of the basics. This is not how to write a press release. This isn't how to write a feature release. Will we talk about it? Yes. Will there be an opportunity to try to write a press release? Yeah, probably. But that's not the focus. The focus is the business. First of all, a couple of things about the class. I'm sure some of you have taken an online class before, and maybe some of you haven't. The biggest piece of advice I can give to you all is don't forget you have an online class. It's very easy when you're not physically going to a class, seeing a professor twice or 3 times a week, interacting with classmates, seeing people, talking about, hey, did you get the homework done? What did you think about that test? It's easy to sometimes push the work aside. The thing about an online class that's really incredibly important is that the work be done on time and submitted on time. It is very, very difficult for me to make exceptions when people contact me 3 or 4 days after an assignment is due to say, oh my God, last week got away from me. I forgot all about it. I had to work a double. Maybe something else happened that prevented you from getting the work done. And the reason why it's difficult for me to make an exception for you is I have to be fair to everybody else in the class. And I don't know everyone else's situation. Maybe somebody else worked a double and did get the work done. Maybe somebody else had a real crazy week and did get the work done. And it wouldn't be fair to them to give you the exception when they get the work done. That's not me being a hard guy. That's me trying to be fair to everybody. And I think, you'd want to be treated that way as well. The workload for an online class, it's really, at least in my case, pretty straightforward. One, there's text reading every week, so yes, you do have to buy the textbook. There's a written homework assignment, usually based on a question from the chapter. And then there's also a discussion based on maybe a video I'm going to ask you to watch, or based on a question I might pose. The thing about the discussions obviously are you have to participate as they're going forward. You can't go back and try to participate in a discussion that happened 3 weeks ago. I'll be participating in those discussions. I may not necessarily be commenting all the time. When I do, I may not comment on everything, but I'll certainly be, popping in and out and paying attention to, what it is that you're saying. I hope you'll enjoy the discussions. It's really the only way we all have a chance to, interact as colleagues in this class. So please take the time. The other thing that I think goes towards making a successful experience in an online class is to actually schedule time to work on the online class. Even though you're not physically going to a class, I think sometimes if you put it in your schedule, that, this afternoon I'm going to work on the online class, or tonight when I come back from dinner, I'm going to work on the online class, you'll find it easier to, get the work done. The neat thing about an online class, of course, is that you can do it whenever you want. If you're one of those folks who is an early riser and you're in the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you're, back in your room or back home or back in your apartment, by 7 o'clock, and you're drinking your shake and you don't know what to do, well, that may be a good time, to schedule an hour to do the reading. And maybe another morning, schedule it again when you're going to do the homework assignment, and schedule it again to participate in the discussion. My goal is to have everybody participate in the discussion. Initially, make one comment on someone else's responses, and then as we go forward, we're going to up that to respond to at least two, maybe respond to at least three, so we can really get the discussion going as we get further into the topic. Now, grading. If you look at the syllabus, you may see a grading system that you're not entirely familiar with. I grade on a 1,000-point system. What the 1,000-point system does is it awards points for assignments, for quizzes, for participation in discussion, for the concluding paper, the topic of which, by the way, is already in the syllabus, the final exam, all those sorts of things. I personally think it's easier to build a grade through points than trying to figure out, okay, I've got 3 written assignments and I've got a B- average, and written assignments are 20% of the final grade, and then I've taken a quiz or I've got a 72, and quizzes are 25% of the final grade, so where am I really at in percentages? And I just think it's confusing. But if you're building towards something, that may give you an opportunity to say, okay, where do I stand? So far the work that we've done has been worth 200 points, and I have 150 points. So if I got the other 800, I'd have, whatever that total would be. So that kind of sort of gives you a sense. It's not a solid number for sure, but I think it gives you an idea of where you're at. So don't freak out about it. Just work your way through it. And by the way, when you're looking at your grades on Blackboard, you're going to see one column that says points. That's the one to pay attention to. You scroll all the way across, you're going to see another number that looks like a final grade. It's not it. Ignore it. Okay? It doesn't mean anything. It's just the system taking the number of points you have, dividing it by the number of assignments, and coming up with a number. Sometimes it's close, oftentimes it isn't. So please don't pay attention to that. And if you just chug along, if you do the work, you're going to have a great semester. I personally love this class. I've worked in, the public relations field in communications for a long time, obviously. And I hope to share with you some of my experiences. One of the neat things about a class like this is, of course, stuff is always happening. And we can pause and we can take a look at it. And I can certainly, highlight some things and share my thoughts through these kind of videos, which I hope to post, at the start of every week. The final thing I want to talk to you about is homework assignments. First homework assignment, by the way, is due on Sunday. You can do it even if you don't have the textbook. I'm simply asking you to think about, what do you know about the business now? What do you feel about the public relations business? You can certainly say some good things about it. You can certainly say some maybe not good things about it. But I just want to see where you're at and then at the end of the semester, we can see where you're at again in the concluding paper. But the other thing about homework assignments is this: please submit them via Blackboard. There are portals there for them to be submitted. Please don't send them via email. This is for your protection. I know me. I have an office here at Bridgewater State University. As you'll hear me reference over the course of the semester, I also do marketing and communications for my wife's real estate practice on Cape Cod. I have an office there. I also have an office at home. And I could print out your email with your assignment in any of those three places and put it on the desk, put it on the file cabinet with the hopes of getting to it later. And then you'll be contacting me at the end of the semester saying, hey, Professor, you didn't give me credit for the assignment that I emailed you on XXX. And I'll have no idea where it is. So please don't do that to yourself. Please don't do that to me. And just use Blackboard to submit stuff. So this is just a really quick, brief introduction to the course. As I said, I hope to be speaking with you via these videos before the start of every chapter. You hopefully find a new one on Sunday nights talking about the work for the week and talking about what it is that you'll be reading about. So until this coming Sunday, stay warm. I hope you're all feeling well and you're not going through that flu, head cold, stomach bug thing that everybody seems to be dealing with. It ripped through my house twice. So if you're going through it, I certainly feel your pain. So again, this is a brief introduction. It's great to meet you all. And if you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to email me. I try to respond to my emails within 24 hours. Often I do it beforehand. So I'm looking forward to working with you, and we will be talking soon. Thank you.